So recessions, they're interesting, right? They create two types of people. Those that lose everything because they weren't prepared, and those who build everything. So what's the difference? It's not luck, it's knowledge. It's having a strategy and being prepared. Really, that's the number one thing. It's how prepared are you? That's why I put together today's recession survival guide to help you navigate the uncertain times, protect what matters the most to you, and to uncover the real opportunities in the middle of this chaos. So in today's episode, what we're gonna do is we're gonna kick things off by talking about the upside. That's right. You're probably thinking, what upside of a recession? Well, there is. The opportunities that only exist during a recession and how to spot them before everybody else does, which sometimes is the most tricky part. I'm Chris Naugle, and this is What Now? What's next for opportunity? So let's get one thing incredibly clear before we get into this. A recession doesn't mean game over, like a lot of people think. A lot of people think, oh, it's a recession, it's game over. No, in fact, recessions have created more millionaires than any other economic condition that there is. But the only ones who know how to play this game are the ones who know how to play offense and defense. That's right, it's not an offensive game or a defensive game, it's both. So right now, I want you to do something really simple. I want you to grab a pen, open up a notepad, and I want you to write this down. So I want you to write down 3 ways that you think you could go on offense during a recession. I mean, just think of things like, what kind of things could you invest in during a recession? What kind of things could you build? What problems could you solve, or what networking could you do? Those are just things you could write down. And only 2 ways to play defense, that's it. Maybe improving your cash flow or creating an emergency buffer. Those are 2 that would come to my mind. So write those down. This isn't about waiting. It's about preparing. And it starts right now. But you know what else starts right now? You clicking that subscribe button. That's what I need you to do. And also, there's a little bell up top. What I need you to do is smash that bell. That's right, that little ding ding. Smash, ow, that bell, and it'll notify you every single time we put out new content. There's a little plastic ring on the bottom, and every time I hit my knuckle on it. So let's get back into it. So during a recession, everything goes on sale. Real estate goes on sale because, well, there's less demand. Stocks, I don't need to tell you that, they go way deeply discounted. And even businesses, you can buy businesses much cheaper. So here's the key. You see, these aren't losses. That's right. They're discounts. And they're discounts for those who are ready, those who have liquidity, those who have access to capital. You need those 2 things. You got to have liquidity and you got to have access to capital. So this is your moment. This is your moment to pick up assets that will explode in value on the other side of the curve. Because remember, when it goes down, it does come back up. And this is what Warren Buffett knows. He said this the best. He said, be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy. So here's what you want to do now. You need to create a buy list, a list of the assets that you would want to buy if they dropped in price 30 to 50% in value. What would you be buying? What stocks? What businesses? What real estate? Set up alerts. Work with a broker to track these opportunities before they even happen. And make sure you are very specific in your plan. What sector? What type of real estate? What area of real estate you want to buy? Get really specific about this buy list. And most importantly, make sure you have a plan to access capital. Because it'd be one thing to create a buy list and it happens, you're like, oh, I shoulda, I coulda, I woulda. You gotta have cash. So set up your HELOC. Build the relationships with private lenders like privatemoneyclub.com. Ask yourself, what would you buy if the price was 40% off? And how would you afford to buy it? And another thing you gotta understand is when most people retreat, they stop spending, they stop marketing, that's a huge one, and they stop dreaming. They go into this like little hibernation mode. That's your moment. That's when you move forward. I'll never forget, I read a book from Grant Cardone back during the Great Recession. I was in a really bad place then. And I remember reading how Grant, during the recession, he was losing everything. And you know what he did? He pushed all of his chips in. When everybody was cutting back on marketing, he pushed into it. He spent his last nickel on marketing. And well, how'd that work out for him? Pretty well, right? I don't think there's many people who don't know who Grant Cardone is. And you know how he did it? He took advantage of the opportunity when everybody else was pulling back to push in. And that's what you need to do. And the reason he did that is the same reason you need to do that. In a recession, the field clears. There is a lot less noise, there are fewer bidders, and there's a lot more room for you to negotiate. And that's how you win, folks. You reach out to top tier talent. You can hire the best people for a lot less. Great people are getting laid off and they're open to new ventures. Maybe they're sick of the same old. Test new marketing strategies. That's what I'm gonna do. Ad costs drop when everybody else is pulling out. It's supply and demand. You can negotiate deals you couldn't touch before. They're like, no, I'm not taking your offer. Oh, now they'll take it. Contractors' pricing goes down because they need work. Even big name partners, yeah, they're way more open to talking during these periods of time. You see, this is a period of time when the hustlers make moves. While the others are fearful and they're hiding and pausing everything, you are on the offense. And if you're thinking, all right, Chris, I get it, where do I actually start with this? Well, I got some good news. MoneyChoolTV is where you start. You see, when it comes to mindset, to the infinite banking concepts, everything, what opportunities look like, we are creating content every week for MSTV. So I created MSTV back during the pandemic, and I created it to give people like you the tools that I wish I had in 2008 during the Great Recession. You see, we go deep, way beyond the infinite banking concepts. We go into real strategies, stock strategies, options, derivatives, real estate strategies, things you would need to know during a recession so that you can rise above. You're gonna also get live mentorship every single month. It's like TV Guide, but for money. All of that you can watch on your own time whenever you want, all for $19 a month. Or $190 a year. And also, we'll throw in the audiobook for Private Money Guide and all my other books if you do the annual mode. So start your free trial right now. You can cancel at any time. But do something because the system's not gonna save you, folks. Wall Street and the banks aren't there to save you. It's all on you. And MSTV will get you in the right mindset to do that. Oh, and it's a tax write-off. All right. Sorry. Back into it. Let's talk about how the season can be your launch pad to building and pivoting. This will be the time where you need to sharpen that axe. This is the time where you're going to need to build that skill set. This is the time where you're going to need to build that system. You see, so many legendary companies, from Uber to Airbnb to Microsoft, they were born in downturns. Walt Disney would be another one. So ask yourself this. Literally, what have you been too busy to build during times of the boom? Because we've been in a boom time. What have you been too busy to do? Now is the time to do it. Build that product, launch that service, do whatever it is you've been thinking about every day. This is your opportunity. And you're gonna be able to do it for less. This is also a time to create a content platform. Start posting, start sharing what you know, create videos, podcasts, newsletters, webinars, and automate and systematize your business. This is a great time to use AI tools that have changed the game for others. Now you can use them yourself. Do your own research. See what works best for you and your needs. And use technology to make it faster, smarter, and more efficiently. Also, there's a ton of courses out there. There's a ton of masterminds, YouTube videos, coaching programs, and many of them are more affordable right now. You see, information has never been more readily available than here and now. So don't isolate yourself. Don't let fear take over. This is the time to invest in yourself. And that investing in yourself will pave the way for the opportunities that are about to unfold. You see, recessions aren't about losing money. They're about moving money. Money never really disappears during a recession. It just changes hands. You see, there's those people who panic. And what do? They lose. And then there's those who prepare to act with intention, and they receive. It's quite simple, right? This is when most of the generational wealth is created. Money doesn't disappear, like I said, it just moves and changes hands, and your hand is the one that's about to receive. So that's only gonna happen if you're prepared, because the unprepared, well, they're the ones who lose the money, and you're the one who receives the money. You can almost think of this like musical chairs. Yep. When the music stops, what do? You get up, you go around, and you need to be sitting when the music stops. So here's what you do. Schedule weekly reviews of your financial positions, weekly reviews of your financial plans, and just know how you're going to act on it. Know the plan before it happens. Read The Art of War. You want to know how to get ahead? That's what you do. Speak with a strategist about moving capital. One of the other things I think that's really important during a recessionary period, and I talk about this all the time, is make sure your money is sitting on the sidelines, somewhere that's protected, somewhere that can produce a little bit of income, but yet not hold any of the risk. You got to get out of risk assets. The most important thing that you need to get serious about is investing to thrive, but you got to wait and you got to be patient, because now is probably too early. That is, unless you're a professional stock trader, then you probably did pretty well on these swings. But it's a difficult market for the novice or even the intermediate investor. So when the dust settles, you want to be the one holding the assets that everybody wishes they bought. You want to be the person that is not saying, I should have, I could have, I would have. You want to be the one saying, I did. Look, I know it's tough. It's really tough with all the negativity, all the news. But the real question isn't, can I survive this? It's, what can I create during this? That's what sets you up for life. That's what's going to set all of us up for life. So when you think about a recession and when you speak about a recession, speaking of recessions, if you haven't already watched this video right here, you definitely don't want to miss that one. You know, it's about Trump trying to bring on a recession. You know, was I flat out wrong about this, dude? Check it out. Let me know what you think of it. I had a bunch of fun filming it. Until then, stay focused, stay prepared, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for joining me. This has been another episode of What Now? What's next for your opportunity?